This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot, toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
Welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and holy moly, do we have a diamond in the rough type of interview for you here this week. It's a diamond, all right. It's a diamond queen, Evelyn Carter, SOAR Women's Champion. Holy moly, it's great. I have to make sure that she's going to let me in, though. I have a ton of stuff I want to ask her, but I got to make sure I'm on her level because she is a queen. And a diamond queen is even bigger than anything I've ever talked to before on this show. SOAR Women's Champion, as I said, man, I love working with SOAR right now. All these guys and gals coming in, talking to us here on Can Crushers. This is pretty awesome. This is pretty awesome. Guys, you know, before we talk to Evelyn, we have to do one thing. We have to tell you about Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees. As we heard this past Sunday, eye patches and vests are also there on Collar and Elbow. John's still just figuring out what a vest is. Nonetheless, head over to collarandelbow.com and use the promo code CANCRUSHERS. All one word, capital C in can, capital C in crushers, and you'll save yourself 10% when you go to checkout. Guys, right after we hear from Al Snow, we'll be on the line, hopefully, as long as she lets me in, with the Diamond Queen, Evelyn Carter.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. I told you I was kind of excited, kind of nervous about this interview that we had, but I'm not going to do a good enough introduction for the Diamond Queen, Evelyn Carter, and your SOAR Women's Champion. So I might as well just shut up now and let her come on the show because she's going to bury me. Evelyn, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing quite well, and might I say I am very surprised and flattered that you're smart enough to not mess up my introduction, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Wrestling aside, real quick, we're up here in Pennsylvania, and we know Texas has been slammed and everything. How's everything going down there on your side? Are you guys rebounding? Is everything okay?
Of course, I have I don't even know what you're talking about because everything's always great with me. I never have any problems. Oh, you're talking about that little snowpocalypse?
Yeah.
That happened?
Yeah.
No, that's a poor people problem. I don't have that problem. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What Evelyn, I introduced you as the SOAR Women's Champion, which you are, and you are continuing to take that title to heights that nobody knows about in SOAR. But what's it mean to be the SOAR Women's Champion for you?
To me, this championship, SOAR Championship Wrestling, having this belt, and keep in mind I am admiring it as I'm talking to you right now, this championship belt, it means the absolute world to me because it shows my dedication, my drive, my motivation, and everything that I went to leading up to that evening when I won it off of Amber Rodriguez. Having this championship to admire on a daily basis, it's so lovely. I wish you could just understand or even just comprehend just the sheer fraction of what I'm feeling every time I look at that belt.
It is a gorgeous belt. It is one of my favorite belts out there, bar none. But we've gotten news recently that you might be on the shelf.
Well, that's where I store it until I have to take it to shows.
Oh, yeah. I understand. But there's some issues with there may be an injury, or no? Yes.
Okay, all right, fine. If everyone wants to know the explicit details of my injury, 4 weeks ago during training, I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and damaged a lot of ligaments in my left knee. So yes, I am injured, and yes, I am not going to be wrestling for quite some time. How long? I'm not sure yet. That's up to the surgeons that I have to talk to. Anyway, I don't want you to get it twisted that just because I'm injured, that means I'm going to give up this gorgeous belt of mine. Because that's not going to happen. I'm sorry if that's what you were trying to goad out of me.
I was.
But that's not going anywhere. No, that belt is mine. You have to pry it off of my cold dead hands.
Okay, so no 90-day, 30-day, 60-day clause in defending the title. You're just going to keep it until you come back in a couple months. And we're just going to take a pause.
See, not even that. We're not even taking a pause. Because what myself and the Chaotic Kingdom have decided to do, since we have, again, you like to do your research, you obviously should know that we have a lot of power and a lot of money.
A ton.
So, in having those resources, we are actually picking and choosing other women professional wrestlers to come into SOAR and defend the title for me. If they perform up to the standards that I deem fit, then they get a little payout. And by little, I mean minimum $2,000.
Would they ever be welcome into the kingdom? Or is it just a one-off thank you and get out of my life?
It is a thank you next.
Okay.
This is not an invitation to join the kingdom.
Okay.
The kingdom is already, we're going through a lot. We're going through a lot right now with our current members, and we do not have the time or the patience to be dealing with just thinking about bringing anyone else in.
Okay, so it's a job. Is there a way that people can apply for this job, or are you handpicking everybody? Because this is late breaking news.
I am personally handpicking the women to defend my title, which is why the very first woman to do so was the former SOAR Women's Champion, Rachel Chanel. So, no, there's no job application for this process. I am choosing who defends my title.
Okay. We're going to have to see where this goes for the next few months. I wish you luck with that, because what happens, somebody loses your SOAR Women's Championship and you can't do anything.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay. I'm sure you have a plan to cover your asses. I'll leave it like that, right? Exactly. All right, let's do the rewind a little bit, because that's what we like doing here on Can Crushers. We like knowing everything about you as well. Who introduced you to professional wrestling when you were the Diamond Princess, maybe?
Oh, when I was a child, you mean?
Right.
The sole person that was responsible for getting me involved in wrestling when I was a child, or even turning my attention to pro wrestling, that would have to be my very long childhood best friend. We have been, oh goodness, we've been together for 14 years. Her name is Destiny Arredondo, and she is my world. She introduced me to pro wrestling one evening. She came over to my house, and it was a Monday Night Raw, and she was all so excited, like, "Oh, Evelyn, you have to watch this. You have to watch this show. It's so awesome. You know, you got guys beating up other guys, girls beating up other girls." I just rolled my eyes at her because I was just like, "Okay, and like I do that on a daily basis," but I like it very much. And so that got me interested in it, you know. That's when I started like dipping my toes into the water, and there were some things I wasn't too happy to see because, you know, like I've said to many people over the past couple of years that professional wrestling is disgusting. But I digress.
It can be disgusting. I agree with you. I agree with you. But when you were little, who did you trickle yourself to? Who were some of your favorites growing up then?
Growing up, my absolute favorite wrestler, and keep in mind he was nowhere near his prime when I was a child because, good Lord, I am not that old. It would have to be Ric Flair.
Okay.
He was my absolute favorite to watch. He's just such a classy man. He had all the wealth, the power, the looks. He had it all. Essentially, Evelyn Carter is like a female version of Ric Flair, if you can say that.
I legitimately wrote that down. I do a comparison because we also like talking about your training, but before we get there, you know, my next question is, who is the Diamond Queen, Evelyn Carter? And I have Ric Flair written down along with Victoria. Those are the two people that I saw when watching matches. I'm like, this is who I see. Am I right on Victoria as well? Did you trickle towards her?
Yes.
Damn it,
yes,
I'm good.
That is the perfect representation of me. Good job. You're a lot better at this than I thought.
See?
I gotta give you golf claps for that.
Thank you. I've done it a little bit, and I just see. We know why Ric Flair. I mean, come on. What got you into Victoria so much? I love her. Trust me, I love when she came out with that weird-ass song in the WWF at the time. I can't even think it. But she came out holding, you know, she was kind of like a spider princess or something. I don't know what the hell it was right now. Or is it the later Victoria stuff that you like?
I do like early Victoria more so than later Victoria. Overall, she's just a very strong and powerful woman, and who wouldn't look up to that, honestly?
I agree. She's actually one, and people have given me slack for saying this. There's this Divas Revolution, or however you want to say it, Women's Revolution. I think she was one of the forefronts of that, because there had been a huge wrestling shift once she became mainstream. She wasn't the one that happened to do, and no disrespect, Evelyn, that she didn't have to do the stupid bra and panties matches and these matches and the stupid matches. It shifted when she was there. But she doesn't get the love until recently that she should.
And that is one of the absolute reasons why I look at, and that's just, that right there is just one of the absolute reasons why I do love her so much, because she did not have to do the bra and panties matches. Like I said, very powerful woman, and she didn't have to feel pressured into doing that and acting that way just to get noticed.
More of a fan in whatever the hell you want to call it, TNA, Impact, or was it the WWE, WWF version of her?
Which one was I a bigger fan of?
Yeah.
At the time, it was more so of the WWF and WWE.
Okay.
Back then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So I pegged that one. I'm going to hang my hat on that one for this interview and just call it a win. What was your deciding factor then? Like the real reason? Because, I wanted to be a wrestler growing up. My friends wanted to be a wrestler growing up. We all, and this isn't an excuse, lived in the sticks and maybe we just, life hit or we just didn't go to wrestling school. What was your button that says, boom, I'm going?
It was actually brought to my attention from a gentleman at the gym. Oh, God, if you can only imagine how that story would go. But anyhow, so I was actually not at all familiar with any wrestling outside of the WWE or Impact. I was completely oblivious because, again, why would someone of my stature be associated or be that involved in something like that? But anyway, so a gentleman approached me at the gym, and whether or not he was trying to compliment my physique, it didn't come out properly. It didn't come out of his mouth the way he wanted to because I took great offense to whatever he said. But he essentially told me that I have the physique of someone that's very strong and that he can tell I was athletic and that maybe I should look into professional wrestling. And the first couple of times he brought it up to me, it just completely, and this was only about a year and a half ago when this occurred. And that's when he just kept pushing me. Every time he would see me at the gym, you should really check out professional wrestling. You would do really good. And he was very adamant about me just even attending a show. And so I did. I finally gave in. I went to a show, and oh God, when I saw that, it was a fantastic show, by the way. It was great. That was my very first independent show. It was with World Class Revolution, and saw the show, and I was very entertained. I was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty good. I wasn't gonna lie to myself, as hillbilly po-tunky ass as it was. I was like, okay, this is kind of impressive. All right, cool. And then I saw the women, and I wanted to leave so bad. I really did. The fact that I had never stepped a foot in a professional wrestling ring before, and I even thought to myself, God, I can do so much better than them. That right there is what told me, you know what? Yes, I do need to get involved in professional wrestling because I need to make it better. I was so, now you have me frustrated because now I'm just thinking about all the disappointments that I've had to see in the independent wrestling circuit. Mark?
I'm sorry. This wasn't to get you aggravated at me tonight. You can be aggravated at the rest SOAR roster or anybody else, but don't.
Oh no, I didn't say I was aggravated at the SOAR roster. No,
Okay.
because SOAR Championship Wrestling has the best professional wrestlers in the South. I mean, hell, you can even say in the North.
Yeah. And you guys are actually great transition, by the way, because I was going to bring this up before we get back into some training. SOAR has partnered, and you think I would have wrote this down, OIWA, is that correct?
You didn't do all of your homework, did you?
I didn't write it completely down. Damn it. But you guys are now streaming everywhere. Everywhere. especially on
We
Roku.
are. A Roku channel, if you know what that is. You can go on your little Roku stick and type in SOAR Championship Wrestling, and boom, we're right there. You can download our channel.
Yeah.
And we do stream live occasionally. But the majority of our matches will go up on the channel. And it's pay-per-viewed, of course, because, top talent. You pay for top talent.
As you should. As you should.
Mm-hmm. But regarding your indiscretions about the OIWA, I will give you a brief rundown. The OIWA, or Organized International Wrestling Association, they oversee everything. So we have SOAR, Championship Wrestling, Chaotic Kingdom Wrestling, Southern Extreme Wrestling, and I want to say there's like a couple more, but I really do not care to bother myself with all that knowledge. The OIWA oversees all of that.
Right.
It is the head of the table.
I got the letters right. I was good. I just meant that they were the hub that distributed everything. So I was close enough. I was good.
Yes, you were close enough, but you just missed the mark a little bit.
A little bit. That's what we bring you guys on the show for. You guys have to. I can't throw up softballs all day. Come on.
I understand.
Training. Let's talk about training. Once you made that deciding factor, we love you guys to tell a couple training stories, because without you even stepping into the ring ever, yes, you can do better than a lot that I've seen, but you have to give props to your trainers, because without them, you are not where you are today. Plus, they always like a little stroke, a little pat on their back once in a while when they hear their names.
That is absolutely correct to an extent. Because, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't really make him drink. So it takes a very skilled and highly intelligent trainer, but it also takes a very dedicated and motivated trainee to really listen to their trainer, trust their trainer, do whatever they need to do that their trainer tells them to do. But yes, I do agree with you that trainers are key to success. They definitely open the door, and I am a very humble champion. I'm a very humble SOAR Women's champion, and so I am not afraid, or I will not shy to give out kudos or props to those who deserve it.
And nobody deserves it.
I got to think. It's been so long.
So long.
It has. Because also I'm very picky about who gets the opportunity to train me, so I did hop around quite a lot.
Oh.
Well, when I first initially started, the majority of my training was from Fuego del Sol and Montego Sica, and so I would actually have to drive to Ardmore, Oklahoma twice a week, and so that was 3 hours there, 3 hours back, do that twice a week. That was my initial training, and then I had to take a little seance, and then the next trainers that really took me under their wings and helped me grow would have to be those at the Bumps and Bruises Pro Wrestling Academy. They really took, because I have natural talent, but they took the natural talent that I had. They also took in the training that I did acquire from Fuego and Tigo, and they really shaped me into who I am. They're the ones, I will say, had the absolute biggest impact on my training ability and my skills today. They really brought out the vicious side of Evelyn Carter.
They polished the diamond, so to speak.
They polished the diamond. That is a very perfect analogy.
Nice. First match jitters. Did they really happen for you? Because legitimately you are uber athletic. You really are. Things you do in the ring seem very fluent for you. First, you just hear that first match that is always stuck in your head. Was it stuck in your head?
Oh, I remember my first match very fondly, but I was not nervous at all. I was nothing but excited to finally get out there and just destroy my opponent.
Nice. During training, was there ever a time, you said 3 hours, in your first training, 3 hours to 3 hours back. I'm sure training wasn't 45 minutes. It was, a couple hours when you were there. Any time that you thought, hot damn, this is wearing me down. I need to pause.
Nope, not at all.
Because once you're in,
once you're in, there is once you're in, there is no out if it's what you really want. People who give up, people who make excuses along the way, or people who just drop off the face of the earth with no rhyme or reason or excuse, they do not have what it takes to make it in the professional wrestling business, because you need more than just a few cool tricks and a nice face to survive. And so my dedication has never faltered, and I've been through a lot. And I'm very green. I am not even on 2 years in this business, but I have been through a lot. And honestly, if anyone should have quit at this point, it should be me. But that's not who I am.
It's a lot of mental as well. You could be the strongest man or woman in the world, taking the bumps and everything like that, but a lot is mental. Razor Ramon said it. It's not how many times you get beat down, it's how many times you get back up. And that's the best saying in wrestling. Right?
It truly is. I would say it's more mental than physical. Because once you have the physicality down, that's no big deal. You just learn a few things. It's all muscle memory. But it's the mentality that's the most challenging part of all of this.
So being roughly about 2 years in the business, I'm going to say the indie scene, and I'm going to put the quotations around it. A lot of big names have come across you. Amber Nova is all over the place anymore. Miranda Gordy, that we know everything about her. I mean, the list of people just go on and on that you've been in the ring with. It's such a young age. Is there anybody that really stands out in your head that says, holy shit, I don't believe I was in the ring with him or her?
Anyone that stands out in my head where I was like, holy shit, because everyone who was in the ring with me, I know they were thinking, holy shit.
Right. Without a doubt.
But no, I can't say I have. And yes, I have manhandled Miranda Gordy many times. But no. No, because there is not a single person. Well, that is a lie. There's only one person. But there is not a single woman in this indie circuit, however you want to put it, that intimidates me that much. Because I know you live in Pennsylvania?
Right.
You've never seen me in person.
No.
I've passed over more than half of these women. I have more muscle than their boyfriends half the time. And so there really is no one that I've come across in the ring. There is absolutely no one that I've looked 10 paces in front of me in that squared circle where I just thought, holy shit. Never.
Wow. You have shared the locker room with some iconic figures. I want to run down a list, and then I want to know if you got to, bend their ear about some knowledge that help you along your way. Teddy Long being one of them, Road Warrior Animal, Jazz, Mark Henry, and one of our favorites, Jax Dane. Did you get that?
And Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Right there, yeah. How many of them did you get to sit down with, and they actually get to give you a little bit of feedback? And is there any one of them that stood out?
Oh, all of them. They are all. Every opportunity I had to talk with people on that caliber, they have always been very warm and welcoming, especially Jazz and Rodney Mack, because I saw them more often than I've seen any of the other ones. And the Road Warrior, Animal, like, may he rest in peace. I have seen them the most when I was at World Class Revolution, because we had weekly Carolson shows, and they would be there, especially Rodney Mack. Rodney Mack would be there every week. And so I got quite familiar with people of that caliber, and so I was also quite comfortable asking their advice, any critiques, or if there's just one thing you want to tell someone when you're in this business, what would it be? And they have all been very welcoming in that aspect.
And that's kind of, to me, that would kind of be humbling for them, as larger than life than all of them are, to be able to talk to, and me and you, completely different caliber. You're head and shoulders above me. But for them to, critique, hey, Mark, you're doing this or this or this, I'd be like, oh my God, this is my new gold standard. And that's similar to what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
The ones that stick out the most, because they were so energetic when I had left. It was actually my titles match against Amber Rodriguez. The Koloffs came up to me. They were in that show as well. The Koloffs came up to me afterwards. And of course, aside from saying like how, intimidating that was and that looked and everything, their advice sticks out to me the most, because you could just tell how passionate they were about it. It's very easy to tell when someone's passionate about this business and when someone's not. It's very easy to tell when someone's just throwing out insults because they're envious of you, or if they're throwing out critiques because they want to see you improve. It's very obvious in the locker room. And the Koloffs were so sweet, and they were so open about everything, and they were just so excited to share their wealth of knowledge. And it was very nice. I will say it was a little starstruck moment for me, just how invested they were in my match.
I love hearing that, because we recently, probably about a month ago now, had Nikita on, actually, and he talked about them a lot as well. But you said something that really sparked my mind about kind of deciphering if somebody's throwing shade at you or actually giving you good advice. To know that 2 years in is unbelievable, because I've talked to several stars from all over that said they're sometimes not a filter and they don't know how to take it. When did you discover that you know the difference between shit and shinola, more or less, that they're actually caring for you? And, was that learned instantly?
Oh, yes, of course. Because I know how the human mind works. I'm a very smart woman. I have a double major, one being communication and technology and the other one being sociology. So I can very obviously tell when someone is just blowing smoke in my face, or if they're actually trying to help me.
Nice.
And it's not always easy. It's really not, because a lot of individuals in this business have just been doing it for so long. It's very easy for them to just throw that shade around and make it seem like they care, when in all reality they really don't, and they just want to pretend that their voice matters and that they're being heard by someone who is green.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, because that's what I've heard a lot. They just do a seminar so they can sit in front of, youngsters and throw out whatever they want to. Yeah. And take their money and run.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. The only people that you should concern yourself with about whether or not they're critiquing you should be whomever you ask to critique you and your coaches. That's
Right.
it. And
Right.
obviously when stars like the Koloffs put in their 2 cents, you shut up and listen.
Right. Right. And that's probably pretty important in wrestling, and to shut up and listen a lot from stars
Yes,
like
a lot
that.
of people don't.
Yeah. I want to know more about you, more about Evelyn Carter. Let's talk about some nerd out stuff with you.
All right.
Favorite movies. I'll wait on the last one because it's my shade towards you a little bit, and then you can come at me. What do you like movie-wise? Are you a romantic comedy? Do you like the slashers? Where are you there?
I am more so of a slasher and then the Marvel series.
Okay.
That kind of gives you like an overall understanding of what piques my interest. Romantic comedies, please.
No.
Romance movies, gag me with a sock.
No. I also pictured you as having those 2 degrees, now that you just told me that, very CSI and stuff like that, wanting to know, dig a little bit deeper what happened. So those kind of, like, the one that's on Netflix right now, which is huge, the Nightmare Stalker, or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, yeah, I've already watched that.
Yeah. I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it. Are you a big gamer? Do you game at all? Do you take time in, music, games, anything like that we should dive into?
I do, actually. I never thought I would be that interested in video games, but recently a friend of mine gifted me an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch for my birthday, and I've actually been quite hooked on video games. I will not lie. That is my guilty pleasure, and if anyone tries to call me out on it, I will destroy them.
What are you playing?
I am playing Rocket League, PUBG. I definitely like violence. I do.
Nice.
I do like the violence.
Am I right on this too? Because in my homework, you're a lover of cartoons as well, right?
I mean, when I was a child.
Oh, they're very much linked to you now. That I'm like, I love cartoons. I'm not gonna lie, but there's still Dexter and South Park and stuff like that you, or was it just tagged because you just liked them way back when you were a little princess?
When I was a what? I'm sorry.
A little queen.
Mm-hmm. That's better.
Okay.
It was just mostly when I was just more fascinated and I guess you could say Looney Tunes when I was a child. Like I said, I wasn't really much for cartoons when I was a kid because I preferred watching things like CSI whenever that was a thing. God knows how long that was.
It's been running for about 55,000 years right now. You could watch all of them if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Favorite social media? Because to actually dig on you, it takes some homework as a podcaster or somebody wanting to write something up or, produce something for you to help you. Do you have a favorite social media? Because sometimes it seems like you go missing on social media.
That is intentional because I find that people often get quite jealous of me and my lifestyle, so I don't post it that often.
I can understand that. I'm jealous of you, so I can understand that. You don't want to rub it in everybody's face.
No, because that's not classy.
It is not classy. Aside from meeting anybody in wrestling, have you met anybody that was like you went gaga over, or you were really excited for because she was in a huge singing movie or anything like that?
I've met quite a few actors and actresses because I myself used to be on the television show Dallas whenever the newer, more hip and younger age of it came about just what was it, like 5 years ago or something like that?
About, yeah.
So I actually did meet quite a few actors and actresses that way. I've met Nicki Minaj in an elevator when I was at the Hotel Zaza doing a cover shoot for a magazine. That's pretty much it. But like I said, I've yet to meet someone that just completely dumbstrucks me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure she was or would be now excited to know that she met you now.
Exactly. See, you're learning.
I am
I
learning.
appreciate that.
Thank you. It takes a little while. Wrestling today, how much are you watching for pleasure? And then are you watching anything today for tape study, or do you go back to the Victoria and or farther back to do the study like that?
Oh, nowadays for a tape study, I quite honestly focus on anything that the OIWA puts out in production, because you learn quite a lot. Now, granted, there aren't a lot of women's matches there, but I find that it's not very smart to be dependent on just one person's style or one person's way of talking and wrestling. You really need to get a good encompassing view of, I want to say maybe 5 athletes total. Whether it's men or women, doesn't matter. It's whatever you think can benefit you in the long run. So when it comes to things like that, it's, like I said, on the Roku channel, you can find all of the pay-per-views there, all the big matches there, including mine.
Including yours.
Under SOAR Championship Wrestling.
Is there one, that's what I'm trying to pull out of you, that you're actually pulling from more? Have it be male or female, that you're like, and I know Ric Flair and Victoria, yeah, we talked about that, but anybody from today's age, you're like, I could twist that and borrow it a little bit. Because it's, essentially that's what wrestling is about, taking, Arn Anderson's gimmick and turning it up to 1 million, and now you're the new Arn Anderson, which is one of my favorites. That's why I always bring him up.
I would say if there's honestly only one person I look up to in this business now, and it's Dontae Smiley. That's it.
He's a big man to look up to. Look up to. Dontae.
He is helping me really hone in on my viciousness, because he knows I'm a very destructive force, and he knows just how powerful I can get, because he's also my personal trainer. So he knows how strong I am. He knows how all-powerful I am. He's just he's helping me really just channel all of that energy.
Yeah, he is a great trainer, mentor, whatever you want to call him. A wonderful human being in the long run, too. Do you, when you're working out, do you listen to his rap album on Spotify?
Of course, duh.
Okay.
And I also listen to his 13th Floor Mindset podcast.
See?
Very motivational.
See? Nice plugs there. We're working this out.
Exactly.
I have an offer for you of tens of millions of dollars, and you can sign a contract with AEW or WWE at this moment. Same money, everything. Where do you pick?
I honestly wouldn't pick either.
Ooh, nice.
I wouldn't pick either. I really wouldn't. Because it's easy to see how successful someone is when they've reached that level of success. But whenever you're with a company or an organization or a promotion that's starting from the bottom and working their way up, and when you see the potential and everything going in to that company, you want to stick with them.
I love it. You've given the best answer to that I've had across the board. Because if you love where you're at, you want that to be WWE or AEW. Yeah, it takes some work, but guess what? You beat your ass up and you get there, and then you get more out of it in the end.
Exactly. That's why I'm holding on to this women's championship belt over at SOAR for as long as I can.
And it seems like it's going to be a long time. It really does.
Exactly. Until this will never happen, but until someone, I am going to be I'm going to be the SOAR Women's Champion as long as I find it challenging enough.
Well, that leads me to the next thing. Apparently, you can see the rundown sheet. What is your goals for the next 5 years, then?
My goal is to be the best. My ultimate goal in this industry is for people to be able to look at me, see my matches, just see me walking past them, and say, wow, that is a great pro wrestler. And please note that I did not say that is a great women's pro wrestler. I want them to look at me and rank me up there with everyone on the board and say, damn, Evelyn Carter, that's a great wrestler.
This isn't on the docket, but does that grind your goats? Because we try to not say anything like that on our weekly shows or anything. Women's, men's. Does that really, and I hope you're going to go off on this, does it really grind your gears when they say, oh, it's women's wrestling? And there's that little undertone hint, which has just pissed me off recently because I'm going to go off for a minute. The women's wrestling right now for WWE is saving it. If you want to say any of that, because there's not a top heel or face on that godforsaken show that I want to go out and even spend $20 to buy a shirt. Let me buy Bayley stuff. Let me buy Sasha stuff, because they're at least intriguing. Where Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Brock, when he comes back, I could give two shits about. So does that grind your gears to say women's wrestling compared to men's wrestling? Because for F's sakes, it's wrestling.
It grinds my gears, however you want to say that. It's very, very, I don't even want to say it anymore. It bothers me greatly whenever, like you said, people have that bored or unimpressed undertone whenever someone says women's wrestling. It bothers me greatly because historically, no, women's wrestling was treated as water break matches. Like you said, they were in bikinis just prancing around the ring. Very demoralizing. So the fact that you have women today, Jazz especially, Jazz is a very powerful woman.
Yes.
When you have women like her and Thunder Rosa working tirelessly to pull women's wrestling out of those shadows, it's quite honorable and amazing to look at. And it's still a struggle. Absolutely. It is still a struggle today to get people interested in women's wrestling because, quite honestly, aside from a very few select, some of the best matches I've ever seen have been women's wrestling. It really has. And it sticks out. Those stick out in my mind more than any other match. It really does. Because to me, they're just more entertaining. They really are.
Yeah.
There's more passion. There's more passion. There's more desire to always go out and prove to be the best. Because we've always had to go out and prove to be the best.
I agree. I agree. My match of the year last year, just so you know, was Thunder Rosa and AK when they were on NWA, and that was it. It was everything. The storyline, the feud, everything was right there. You're right. What Rosa is doing. And it's just I'm going to roll off my tongue, and I hate it, for women, with the godforsaken quote around it, is so empowering. I love what she's doing. Yeah, I love Thunder Rosa. I love her. Any chance, are you going to work with her, Mission Pro or anything like that?
That would be a thing.
Yeah. You have to heal up is what we have to do first. Heal up.
That, yes.
That
is true.
yes. Best advice for youngsters that come up to you and say, Evelyn, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up. What do I do?
I tell them, then grow up and be a wrestler. There is no one answer you can give because being a professional wrestler is not one-dimensional. You cannot just give one answer. You would have to give 1,000 answers. That is a very loaded question.
It is.
To ask someone. It really is. And the best way to start out is to just say, you want to be a wrestler? Okay, go be a wrestler. Go to a school. Find a good coach. Find a team. Find a good wrestling family that can support you and push you so that way you can be the best that you want to be.
I love the last part. I love the last part about finding a good wrestling family. And the more and more that I talk with everyone down at SOAR, you guys are a great wrestling family. You all have each other's backs. You are, through thick and thin, you're there. And there's so much to come from SOAR because of that. Because of Dontae, because of you, because the list can just continue to go on and on. Sir Mo, Dean Fleming. I don't want to name the roster, but I'm essentially going to name the roster because you guys have each other's backs to take over the world, and I love that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
And that's why you're not taking an offer right now, and you're going to supersede AEW and WWE. I love it.
Exactly. See, thank you.
I get to know this stuff. This is one of my favorite questions. Of course, it's your dream match, but I want to know who, where, and then the stipulation of the match. You know, I know you're going to say da-da-da-da-da person, you know, XYZ person. Cool. But why? Why that person? Why where you're going? And why that stipulation?
I would say, oh, goodness. Who, where, and stipulations. You know what would be really... See, when you ask me that question, I have to think, okay, what's going to challenge me? What's going to push me? And the first woman that came to mind was Thunder Rosa. She would definitely push me. Where? SOAR, of course. As for stipulation, I would say a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Nice.
Simply because it's easy enough for you to go into a padded ring, and it's not that padded, but it's easy enough to go into an enclosed space and go one-on-one with someone that, you know, you can't run away. Because you try to slide out the ring, the ref will start counting. Can't do anything fun. Because then the ref will tell you to get off her throat, quit pulling your hair. So just thinking about a Falls Count Anywhere match with Thunder Rosa, it seems like that would be the best bet for me. Because then I can really show just how bad it can get.
So, jumping on that, is that your favorite match type then as well?
Oh, no, I've never had a Falls Count Anywhere match because no one is stupid enough to try and fight me like that.
Right. Plus you have friends, let's say friends lingering around. That if it's Falls Count Anywhere, it's no DQ, essentially, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do like those matches. I do. I like them a lot. They're my favorite.
Nobody's stupid enough. That should be your next tagline. Nobody's stupid enough. All right, I want you to sell some merch. Tell us where we can buy some of your stuff. Plug your social media when you decide to enlighten us with everything as well. It'll also be tagged in all of this, but just so people know.
Of course, of course. Well, my most active is going to be Instagram. It's _Evelyn_Carter. You can follow me there. That is my preferred way. I'm also on Twitter at @Evelyn Carter. I kept it very simple for all these simple-minded people. You can buy some of my Face of Grace shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. And of course, anytime you come to one of my shows, I'm always giving autographs and selling 8x10s and t-shirts there. So
TikTok would be great for you as well, to give us a little 15 seconds.
I've had people tell me that.
I really think TikTok is where it's at for you. You need to jump on that.
I should.
You really should. You really should. And, well, these simpletons that you pick, essentially, you could be at ringside for 15 seconds doing something like that, a little snippet of the show real quick. I'm telling you, pay-per-view buys, just saying, pay-per-view buys, it helps SOAR. That's what it's about. Come on, stop beating around the bush. It is what it's about. All right. I know you have a busy schedule. But what's next? What's coming up next for you and in SOAR here in the next couple of weeks?
Here in the next couple of weeks, SOAR will be traveling quite a bit. I know that the Chaotic Kingdom is going over to, Sherwood, Arkansas. They're going to go there, and Dontae Smiley is going to put an end to, what's his name? The fool with like the 15 spirits or something. Oh, Laurentis. Yeah, Laurentis. He's going to put him out of his misery there, because I know Laurentis is kind of suffering under the weight of all those spirits and that heavy belt. I know that's where they're going. See, we're so busy. It's so hard to keep track of it all.
Personal assistant too. You need one of those.
I do. I really do.
In life, you need one of those, because I know you really are just swamped with everything, wrestling and everything else. You need a personal assistant.
I really do. It's quite ridiculous just how busy I am. And now I decided to take my skills and knowledge into the personal training industry. So now I'm a certified personal trainer, and I'm just so busy.
Pump that up. Are you going to do virtual ones, or is it just going to be in-house?
I could do online. That wouldn't be a problem. That'd be very easy. And it'll be mostly in-house. A majority of my time will be spent at the Recess Fitness Club on Mockingbird in Dallas. They're a very new club. It's going to, oh man, I cannot even begin to explain to you how nice this fitness facility is going to be. Over $300,000 have gone into the cosmetic renovations alone for this place. We have the entire third floor of this building. It's going to be quite lovely. But I will be spending a majority of my time there training clients over at Recess in Dallas. If anyone is interested in signing up, they do have early sign-up specials going on right now. And of course, who wouldn't want to be, taught a thing or two about fitness by the Diamond Queen herself?
Right. I don't live in Dallas, or down around there, or I would. I need to be trained. I need to find a good fitness trainer.
Yeah, you like someone who definitely needs to be trained in more than just personal fitness.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Apparently, you just talked to my wife about housework or stuff like that. Thanks, Evelyn. Now you've just rained on my parade.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to let you go tonight. I know you're busy, so thanks for stopping by Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, and I'm sure we're going to be talking soon again, because Dontae has given me something else to bring up in the near future with you.
Well, thank you, Mark. And as always, this is the Diamond Queen, Evelyn Carter, and though I appreciate you inviting me on tonight, I absolutely hate your Can whatever, Can Crushers podcast.
And I thought I had her. Right at the last second, she hates Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Fabulous. I hope we can get her back on someday. I really do. So much more I want to talk about. I want to talk about the people that she has picked to help defend her SOAR Women's Championship. I want to talk more about her and Thunder Rosa and more about her goals and stuff like that, because there's so much with Evelyn. If I can get in, I got to keep knocking at the door. SOAR, let me in. Let me in, SOAR, so I can come down to Texas and have a nice sit down with Evelyn. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to pay for a lunch or anything because her demands are well above my means. But I tried. Now, damn it, I'll try again. Guys, this was a great interview. As much as she doesn't like me, I enjoyed learning about the Diamond Queen, Evelyn Carter. Guys, if you know anybody else on the SOAR roster, reach out to us. Anybody across the world, reach out to us at cancrusher69@gmail.com or on social media, cancrusher69 across the board as well. Send us a message. Let us know what's going on. We'll reach out to people. We'll get them on here on Can Crusher Wrestling Spotlight and chat with them. Hopefully, I'll be reaching back out to Evelyn Carter. Guys, I love doing these spotlights for you. I love talking to the talent across the world. Just keep sending them in. Keep sending them in. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called the garbage can, not a garbage cannot. See you this weekend.